loanable funds market, supply and demand for loanable funds. We're going to look at the Y and the X axis for the loanable funds market. On the Y-axis will be real interest rates. If you want to put a cursive R there, that stands for real interest rates. Real interest rates does not include expected inflation. And then on the X-axis will go quantity of loanable funds. You have the supply of loanable funds labeled S sub LF, and you have the demand for loanable funds labeled D sub LF. Wherever supply and demand of loanable funds meet, then that is the real interest rate labeled with a cursive R, and that is then the quantity of loanable funds on the X-axis. What entities supply the loanable funds in this market? You have households who supply the loanable funds market with money, and they do it with their savings. Firms supply the loanable funds market with money when they have profits that they don't either want to reinvest in the business or give back to stockholders in the form of dividends. And they may want to save some money to see if the economy gets better and then take those funds out when the economy does get better. Government supplies the loanable funds market when it runs a surplus. It wants to put its money somewhere where it could get a rate of return. And foreigners, and these are all foreign entities from households, firms, and governments, who want to put their money to either get a better rate of return on their investment or want to put their money where it's a safe place, a safe haven. What entities then demand the loanable funds? Well, households demand the loanable funds for borrowing for a house, borrowing for a car, borrowing for education, and so when there's household borrowing, they demand the loanable funds. Firms demand loanable funds when they want to invest in their company. So they'll borrow in the loanable funds market and put that money into their business. Government will borrow when it runs a deficit. So when it runs a deficit, it has to go into loanable funds market. This market that you see is the market for both private and public funds. And then another entity that wants to borrow money in this market is foreigners. And we're talking about foreign households, foreign firms, foreign governments. If they want to borrow money as individuals or they want to borrow money as a firm so that they can invest.